Hello, this is Virtualis the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. Recently, I played this game where I found an absolutely devious and delicious queen sacrifice trap. This is not a long game. Let's go take a look. As usual, I played the Vienna with the white pieces, so e4, e5, knight c3, and my opponent played the max Lange Defense. Okay, so bishop to c4, and they played bishop c5, the full copycat variation. As I've said before, you should never go full copycat, because now I've got queen to g4, looking at the g7 pawn, and of course in this situation the player with the black pieces can no longer just copy move symmetrically because the queen is there. Now in this position, black is technically okay. I think it's about plus 0.25, but the reason you should not go the full copycat is that the best move here for black is actually quite obscure. The best move for black is in fact king to f8 to defend that pawn. Not obvious at all, and of course you would lose the right to castle. Now sometimes, in fact I think it's the most common response, black will play queen to f6, but then we have the very, very lovely Meitner-Mises gambit, one of the funnest gambits in the Vienna game. In this game, my opponent decided to defend the g-pawn by pushing it forward to g6. Now this is an inaccuracy. It's now about plus 0.5. And one of the things with this move, especially with the bishop already have come out, is that it permanently weakens these dark squares around the king side. And this is something that happens a bit in the giraffe attack as well. So the giraffe attack is where the opponent plays the bishop out first without developing the knight. And the same thing, queen to g4 facing off against g7. Now, after they played g6, I slide my queen back to the natural parking square of the queen in these positions to g3. My opponent now plays d6, very normal. I develop my other knight. You can see Stockfish believes in sort of a rapid attack on this side. I don't usually like that. Now, this does bring us back to pretty close to equality. They develop their knight. I now push my pawn to d3, opening up that dark square diagonal. And here, black played a good move. Played knight to h5. Now, the best next move for white, I would say, is reasonably obvious, and I found it pretty much right away, which is queen to g5. And basically, aiming for a queen trade, I think a queen trade is probably best for both of us, and then I would capture back with knight. So I saw that pretty much right away. However, I spent about 3 minutes on this next move because I recently had a game of a similar position where I played the giraffish queen after the opponent played a max Lange defense. That video is here. And in that game, there was an unusual position, very similar, where the opponent's knight was on e4, I think, attacking my queen. And unexpectedly, the best move for white was to ignore the queen threat and for the knight to capture the pawn on e5, with the knight and bishop teaming up on f7. So that was a very surprising line that Stockfish identified. So in this game, I looked at that line quite extensively as well, and I saw something very, very delicious. And after about 3 minutes, that's what I did. I decided to sacrifice my queen and played knight to e5. So technically a blunder. Look at Stockfish. In fact, I think this is worse than -6 actually. However, what about this? It looks so juicy. And what I calculated is black cannot actually take my queen.
It's a trap!
If they take my queen, I've got a checkmate line. They would have to forego that greediness and take my knight instead. I think Black here probably thought that I had just gotten mad after, thinking about the position for about 2.5 minutes, almost 3 minutes. And so after 9 seconds, they immediately took the queen. And that is a blunder. Look at Stockfish, mate in 3. What does that look like? Well, we now have the bishop captures pawn on f7 with check. And here, the black king has only one of 2 moves. So can't take the bishop because it's defended. You can either go here or here. Now in this game, my opponent played king f8. And remember those weak dark squares? Bishop to h6 check. King now only has 1 square that they can go. So obviously can't take the bishop, can't go here, can't go here, can't go there. Can only come here. And now, knight to d5, mate. Absolutely beautiful, fantastic queen sacrifice. Now, what if the king moved to this other square? Well, it's very, very similar. Well, first we move the knight with check. Can't go here, can't go here because that's all covered. King has to go here, bishop to h5, and similarly, that is mate. Absolutely brilliant trap. I sort of investigated this a little bit afterwards. I thought maybe this was a novelty that I had discovered, but when I looked at the Lichess community database, actually this position had happened once before in a bullet game. Anyway, maybe make use of this trap in your future games. Good game, GG. My big takeaway from this game is to analyze your games after playing. Sometimes you will discover new ideas and new lines that you can use in your future matches. I hope you enjoyed this video and thanks for watching.